You're sitting on the couch, watching TV, or maybe reading a book. You feel a familiar prickle on the back of your neck. You turn your head. Your dog is sitting exactly 6 feet away, staring at you, unblinking, motionless, just watching. They don't have a toy. It's not dinner time. They aren't asking to go outside. They are just locked onto your eyes with an intensity that borders on uncomfortable. Most people brush this off. You assume they're begging for food, hoping you'll drop a crumb. Or maybe you think they're just bored. Some outdated training manuals might even tell you they are trying to assert dominance, challenging you in a silent battle of wills. But behavioral neuroscience and evolutionary biology tell a completely, almost unbelievable story. What your dog is doing when they stare at you across a quiet room is not a demand. It is one of the most sophisticated feats of cross-species communication ever discovered. They aren't just looking at you, they are literally scanning your nervous system, and they have evolved entirely new anatomy just to do it. Let's start with the darkest part of this equation, the wolf. To understand why your dog's stare is a biological miracle, you have to understand what a stare means in the wild. For almost every predatory mammal on Earth, prolonged direct eye contact means exactly one thing: violence. It is an aggressive challenge, a threat display. If two wolves lock eyes in the wild, the interaction is escalating. One of them will submit or they will fight. A fixed stare is the precursor to a physical attack. And yet your dog, a descendant of the apex predator of the Northern Hemisphere, will sit by your bed and gaze softly into your eyes for minutes at a time. How does a threat display become an expression of profound affection? The answer is a chemical hijack. In 2015, Dr. Takefumi Kikusui and his team at Asabu University in Japan published a groundbreaking study in the journal Science. They brought 30 dog owner pairs into a room and simply observed them interacting for 30 minutes, tracking the dog's gazes. Then, they measured the urine of both the dogs and the humans for a specific hormone, oxytocin. Oxytocin is the bonding chemical. It's the exact same neurochemical that floods a mother's brain when she looks at her newborn baby. It creates feelings of intense love, trust, and safety. The researchers found that the dogs who spent the most time gazing into their owner's eyes had a massive 130% increase in oxytocin levels. But here's the detail that shook the scientific community. The humans whose dogs stared at them experienced a 300% increase in their own oxytocin levels. When your dog stares into your eyes, they are pressing a biological button in your brain that was designed by millions of years of evolution exclusively for human infants. They have hacked our maternal and paternal circuitry. And, just like the sleep study, it is a self-reinforcing loop. The dog stares at you. Your brain releases oxytocin, making you feel affectionate. You look back and talk softly. The dog's brain releases oxytocin, making them feel secure, which makes them stare more. The researchers tried the exact same experiment with hand-reared wolves, wolves raised by humans from the moment they opened their eyes, wolves who loved their caretakers. The gaze loop didn't happen. The wolves rarely made eye contact, and when they did, no oxytocin was released in either species. This isn't just a quirk of domestication. This is a specific, co-evolved biological bridge that exists only between dogs and humans. But it gets deeper. Because when your dog stares at you, they aren't just flooding you with hormones. They are gathering data. Highly specific, emotionally complex data. In 2008, a team of researchers at the University of Lincoln, led by Professor Daniel Mills, made a bizarre discovery. Human faces are asymmetrical, not just physically, but emotionally. Because of the way our brains are lateralized, the right side of the human brain processes emotions, and because the right side of the brain controls the left side of the face, the left side of your face expresses your true emotions more accurately and slightly earlier than the right side. When humans look at other humans, we unconsciously look to the left side of their face first. It's called left gaze bias. It's how we read the room. It's how we know if someone is secretly angry, sad, or lying. No other animal does this, not chimpanzees, not monkeys, except one. Professor Mills showed dogs images of human faces, dog faces, and inanimate objects, and tracked their eye movements using sophisticated software. When dogs looked at objects, their gaze was random. When dogs looked at other dogs, their gaze was random. But when dogs looked at human faces, they displayed a strong left gaze bias. Your dog is the only animal on the planet that has figured out how to read the emotional asymmetry of the human face. When they are sitting perfectly still, staring at you, they aren't just looking at your face in general. They are actively scanning the left side of your face for microexpressions. They are reading the subtle muscle tensions around your mouth and eyes that you don't even know you're making. They are reading your mood. They are reading your stress levels. They are trying to predict what you will do next based on emotional cues so microscopic, a human stranger wouldn't even notice them. You think they're looking at your soul. Science says they're literally reading your autonomic nervous system. And if that wasn't enough, they physically altered their own faces to make sure you look back. In 2019, evolutionary psychologist Dr. Julianne Kaminsky published a study in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences that solved a long-standing mystery. Why do dogs have puppy dog eyes, but wolves don't? Kaminsky's team performed anatomical dissections of both wolves and domestic dogs. They discovered that dogs possess a specialized facial muscle called the levator anguli oculi medialis, or the LAOM. This muscle allows dogs to intensely raise their inner eyebrows. Wolves do not have this muscle. It doesn't exist. This muscle does exactly one thing. It makes the dog's eyes look larger, more infant-like, and more sad. When a dog raises its inner eyebrows, it triggers an immediate, involuntary, nurturing response in the human brain. We are biologically incapable of ignoring it. Over 15,000 years, dogs who naturally had slightly more expressive eyebrows got fed more, they were protected more, they were loved more. Generations later, dogs literally evolved a brand new muscle just to manipulate human emotions through eye contact. When they stare at you and give you that soft, slightly pathetic look, it is a triumph of evolutionary engineering. They are deploying a highly specialized biological tool designed specifically for your brain. But there is a second type of stare, and it's one you need to recognize because it proves how your dog views your relationship. Behaviorists call it the referential gaze. Imagine a study known as the impossible task paradigm, developed by Dr. Adam Miklosi. You take a highly trained, socialized wolf and you put a piece of meat inside a clear plastic box with a locked lid. The wolf will bite it. It will scratch it. It will tear at the box for hours until it is exhausted. It relies entirely on itself to solve the problem. You put a domestic dog in the exact same situation. The dog will bite the box, it will scratch it, it will for about 20 seconds. And then the dog will stop, it will turn around, find the nearest human, and stare at them. Then it will look at the box, then back to the human. The dog is using its eyes to point. It is asking for help. Dogs have realized something that no other domesticated animal has fully grasped. Humans are tools. We have opposable thumbs. We can open doors. We can access food. When your dog is staring at you, then looking at the couch, then staring at you again, they are engaging in complex, intentional communication. They see you as an omnipotent problem solver, and they are using eye contact to direct your attention. They are bringing you into their cognitive world. They don't want to solve the problem alone, they want to solve it with you. Now, as with all behavior, there is a dark side, a moment when the stare means something is desperately wrong. And just like the sleep patterns we talked about in the last video, you need to know how to read the change. Not all stares are soft, oxytocin-inducing gazes. If your dog freezes, goes completely rigid, and locks eyes with you without blinking, especially if they have a toy, a bone, or are on their bed, this is called a hard stare. You will often see the whites of their eyes, known as whale eye. This is not love. This is the wolf coming back out. This is a space-claiming stare. It means do not take another step. A hard stare is a precursor to a bite. If your dog gives you a hard stare, breaking eye contact and stepping back isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you speak their language and are de-escalating the situation. And then there's the most heartbreaking stare of all, the blank stare. If your dog starts staring at walls, staring into corners, staring blankly into space while standing in the middle of the room, completely unresponsive to your voice, this is not a behavioral quirk. This is a medical emergency. In veterinary neurology, pressing their head against a wall or staring vacantly into corners is a primary indicator of severe neurological distress. It can mean a brain tumor, a stroke, liver shunts, or advanced canine cognitive dysfunction, dog dementia. If the direction of their stare stops making sense, the brain behind the eyes needs a doctor immediately. But for the vast majority of you watching this, the stare is something entirely different. The next time you're sitting on your couch and you feel that familiar weight of their eyes on you, don't just look away. Don't just tell them to go lay down. Hold their gaze. Soften your eyes. Blink slowly. Understand what is happening in that exact second. A predator whose ancestors used eye contact only as a threat of death has evolved new muscles in its face, developed a sophisticated understanding of human emotional asymmetry, and hijacked the deepest, most sacred maternal chemical pathways in your brain just to tell you they feel safe. They aren't begging. They aren't asserting dominance. They are checking your emotional state, matching their nervous system to yours, and triggering a chemical cascade that binds your species together. Your dog isn't reading your soul, they're reading your biology. And honestly, that is so much more impressive. If this changed the way you look at your dog, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. I want to know exactly what your dog does when they stare at you. And if you've ever wondered why your dog always seems to know exactly what time you're coming home, even without a clock, that's the next video. The science of how dogs actually smell time will blow your mind. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being the kind of person who wants to understand the quiet language of your best friend. See you in the next one.